I've talked ad nauseum about Batman's meaning to me in my life. Before I knew up from down, I was into Batman. Comics, toys, onesies, you name it. It was an impressionable character, and probably one of the many reasons I'm a deranged lunatic who uses a tot as an avatar. Nonetheless, this week, The Batman is being released. Another adaptation of the nearly 100-year-old character. After years of Batman, one remains closest to my heart. One manages to hit all the notes and, in my opinion, is the truest form of the character. A Bible to the psychology of the Caped Crusader. This is Batman the Animated Series, Lost and Found. In the early 1990s, Bruce Timm, writer, artist, and designer, was approached by Warner Brothers in the hopes of adapting new properties. Bruce Timm, hot off his first season with Tiny Toon Adventures, went back to his desk and doodled his version of Batman. Timm, with the help of his partner from Tiny Toons, Eric Radomowski, pitched the idea to president of WB Animation, Gene McCurdy, who stated it was perfect. Timm would design majority of the characters and the Gotham setting, borrowing heavily from the highly acclaimed blockbuster hit Batman 1989, as well as the acclaimed theatrical Superman cartoons produced by the Fleischer Studios in the 1940s. The visual style of the series was based on Radomski's artwork, with Gotham being derived heavily from Gotham influences, emulating Burton's otherworldly timelessness. The duo would push for a distinct visual look, with a combination of familiar noir elements with Art Deco design, which would later be dubbed Dark Deco. Batman the Animated Series would debut on Fox Kids in September of 1992. Despite the clear hope to appeal to a younger audience, Timm and Radomowski pushed for a more adult-oriented series with violence, firearms, and mature themes that might not appeal to a younger audience that Fox desperately wanted. Immediately, the two were hit with resistance from studio executives who wanted a more safe, more child-appropriate show, but were appealed with the success of Burton's films. The pilot episode, On Leather Wings, pushed the executives off their back, allowing for free roam to explore the universe they had envisioned. Without a doubt, one of the most memorable parts of the Batman the Animated Series is the tremendous cast.
Wouldn't it be great if I'd finally driven him off the deep end?
Kevin Conroy would lead the cast as Bruce Wayne and Batman. His Bruce Wayne would be different than the over-the-top billionaire most popular with Christian Bale's interpretation of the character, but a much more assertive, intelligent, and involved character. His Bruce Wayne was voiced with much more confidence, and his Batman, well, is pretty perfect.
No dent!
Why you asking us? We're no terrorists.
You're still scum.
Conroy has a great ability to control the bass in his voice without pushing it into overdrive. See Mr. Bale.
Where is he?
Conroy based his voice performance on the 1934 film The Scarlet Pimpernel. Perhaps as noticeable or as iconic is the role of the Joker, the series' main antagonist. Of course, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, would take a deep dive into the role of the Joker to give perhaps the most iconic take of the character.
Address, height, weight, blah, blah, blah. Righty, oh, chuckers.
His character is that wonderful balance between comedic genius and terrifying psychopath.
I'll call. Fair? Good. Great. I'll be in touch.
Ironically enough, the role was originally given to the clown himself, Tim Curry, but the actor was sick and was unable to make his voice recording sessions. Thankfully, the role worked out perfectly for Hamill, who was a huge fan of the Batman comics. Now, like Conroy, it's so hard to envision anyone else in the animated space doing the voices.
Take a card, Fatso! Take all the cards!
Now it's my deal.
The supporting cast is excellent, with a variety of rogue gallery villains from the Riddler, Two-Face, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, the Penguin, and of course, the series' invention, Harley Quinn, created by writer Paul Dini. The voice acting is outstanding across the board, helped by voice director and supervisor Andrea Romano, who did some industry-leading changes. Most notably, she would implement the change for all the actors to be in one booth at one time, doing their lines rather than one actor at a single time. This clearly allowed for more interplay between the actors and the chemistry that clearly shines on screen. Batman the Animated Series had a large effect on my life. I remember having every toy, including the famed Batmobile, bed sheets, clothes, and the DVDs that would play over and over. The series balanced its ability to be lighthearted when it needed to be, but explore nuance that I think a lot of kids shows today seemingly lack.
Daring Danny X has had enough fair adventure for one day.
I think we all have, Danny. But if you ever need us again, just yelp for help.
Episodes like I Am the Night, which features Commissioner Gordon getting shot, is a tough episode for a young child. While Bruce fights the guilt and sorrow of his parents' loss on their anniversary, he potentially loses a friend and ally in Gordon. The action sends Batman into a tailspin, questioning his conscience as well as his role as Batman.
I don't know if you can hear me, Jim. I'm sorry. Now he's hanging by a thread. If I'd gotten there 5 minutes sooner.
You're only human.
It's a psychological piece on the character, like many of the best episodes, but instead of ending on a sour, down-and-out note,
How long before I let someone else I care about down? Leslie, Alfred, you.
it ends surprisingly uplifted.
Could have been like you. Always wanted to be a hero.
You are a hero, Jim.
On the other hand, you have one of the all-time great episodes, Almost Got 'Em, a silly episode where all the famous, notorious villains gather around over a game of cards. Together, they share their theories over who Batman is, as well as each character claiming their own creative story as to how they got Batman.
Batman came nosing around. He was getting closer, closer.
And?
I threw a rock at him.
Episodes like this that include a few laugh-out-loud moments balance out well from another psychological piece in the episode, Two-Face. Rarely do children's shows focus on mental health aspects, as it's a tough venture even in adult media, but here they do that with acknowledging Dent's mental health.
Plastic surgeon should be able to repair most of the physical scars.
I'm more worried about the mental scars.
It's an admirable take that is memorable for all the right reasons. Listen, I'm not going to mix up anything here. Batman the Animated Series is my favorite take on the Batman character. Sure, it might be a cartoon. Sure, it might have an element or two that is clearly meant for kids. Sure, the acting might all be voice acting, but at the end, none of it matters. I've been a huge fan of Nolan's trilogy, and I've even liked what Affleck has done in the menacing portrayal of a broken Batman. Here, Bruce Timm, Eric Radomski, Paul Dini, and so many others just got it. They understood what made Batman tick. They crafted an ingenious world full of imagination with beautiful, timeless art design and music that is iconic for forever. Danny Elfman would once again compose the main theme for the show, which would be wonderfully continued on by Shirley Walker, who won an Emmy for one of many that the show would nominate and would win for. So the show is far from forgotten, and I get that. Wizard Magazine lists it as the second greatest animated show of all time. IGN ranked it second to only The Simpsons. Yet, seemingly every time a new iteration of Batman comes out, the new one is the best. Conroy's vision of the character, Hamill's Joker, and the world Tim masterfully sculpted fall down a rung. They shouldn't. Batman the Animated Series is a Bible to the character, a telling that will be as old as time. An ability to get into the minds of children with an honest heart and an inspirational tone that won't scare a parent away. It's beautiful, it's haunting, it's fun, and it's just plain the best.